Hey guys, this is Andrei, a certified translator and a real estate concierge. My company has been relocating people from the west to Belarus, not the most, let's say, massive destination, wherein lies its benefit, over the last 3 years. And this release is about the recent real estate figures, facts, just the headlines that I read, nothing like a professional review, just to keep you updated and to make you understand roughly what's happening in the market. This is all my subjective understanding of what's happening, my reading and digest of the headlines. Let's get started. It appears that the June sales, July is almost over, July's statistic will be discussed in August. June sales have very much reflected the trends of May and April and May, especially for the provincial real estate. Houses have been selling 5,000 to 25,000 frame, 140,000, 200,000 frame. People are looking for some place that's easy to get, asphalt road leading as close to the property as possible. And they're not necessarily after larger land lots. So the dacha communities, gardening communities, in some of them foreigners can actually get registration, so you can keep them in mind as you're shopping for a property. We're seeing some sales, and they're not necessarily dropping. Real estate agents are tying this up to the weather factor. It's going to be quite mild, summer-like, for at least another couple of weeks, probably a couple of months traditionally, unless something ugly happens, like a deluge or something. The shopping will continue and the houses will be sold. The most expensive property, house rather than an apartment, was sold recently in a place called Drozdy. It's outside Minsk. It's stereotypically related to all sorts of rich guys that drive a Bentley to have breakfast. The place cost $1.45 million, if I'm not mistaken. And again, the land lot won't be super large, and the place itself might or might not impress a Westerner, but thank God I'm stopping getting any comments like, who would pay that money? Who would buy it to live here? Guys, people with money are buying it to live here. That's what's happening. We, in our turn, have been focusing on $10,000 properties, roughly 1 hour away from Minsk, to make them the first residency place and the first property, which may or may not be converted into a suitable summer house to those coming live to Belarus. This year, strangely enough, mostly it has been Americans by far. For those who are new to the channel, let me give you a quick estimate of the expenses. It's trimming the grass, the upkeeping of a property. Trimming is mandatory, and if you don't do it, you may get a fine from the village council, which is not an everyday thing, but it may happen. And that's about $50-60 per month, ideally every 3 weeks between May and September. So that's 3 or 4 times in a year, roughly, if you really don't give a damn that much. It's $10 a year for my area, 1 hour away from Minsk, Stolpce district, for tax and land rent. May remind you that foreigners do not and cannot buy land. They rent it for 99 years and they pay rent to the state. By the way, I've just bought 2 land lots next to one another by the M1 highway in my area, and probably next year we'll be making a series about how to build a home. I'm focusing on my favorite frame houses, and obviously all this will be media covered, so I'll keep you updated. Back to the ongoing demand on properties in Minsk. There are several factors which were probably already listed earlier. Firstly, affordable bank loans, which are this big or this reasonable, maybe not as reasonable to a Western eye, but roughly more than 30% of deals in Minsk occur with bank loan monies involved. Obviously, it's not 100% financing of a deal. They need just 20 or 30% of their budget to be filled with the loan money to upgrade it to 2-room flat. The next guys go to a 3-room flat, and the next guys go into a house. So that's about the food chain of the real estate market. The salaries have been kind of stable, and the exchange rate of the US dollar, the savings currency of Belarus, has been quite stable too. And the million-dollar question about where it's all going and is it going to last, not even me, not even the experts of the market are able to answer that, neither in Russia nor here. Everybody realizes that the economy isn't working properly and this thing cannot last forever, but to what end? Nobody can tell you for sure. As we already discussed, Belarusians do not really have many savings opportunities and investment opportunities, so people mostly buy properties to keep their money concrete secure, so to speak. So at the first indication of the drop of the economy, the number of offers is dropping, by the way, quite steadily, and the number of newly commissioned houses has dropped. We mentioned that in the previous release. People will swipe away everything they can lay their hands on, and your beloved property you were tracking for months will be gone within a matter of weeks, if it has any sense. Right now I have a client who fancied the rented apartment he lived in. It's in Karl Marx, the city center, as some of you may know, and the place is 60 meters large, 2 rooms, renovated, nicely styled and all. The previous bargain for an unrenovated place like this was about $100,000. We covered it in April, I think, with my EU client. He's now battling with his renovation, which is roughly $30,000. So if my mathematics serves me well, $100,000 plus $30,000 is not $225,000 that the owner is charging him. So he is very much out of touch with reality. His relative, real estate agent, knows about this, but there's nothing they can do because the guy just spent this much, he bought it for this much, he wants his money back. And it's not really working like that in the local real estate market, unless it's a really super niche place. It's a very well designed place, sitting where it has to be, not on the 5th floor of a place without a lift and stuff like that. So be careful about what you're buying and what you're investing in. In Minsk itself, which sees between 1,500 and 2,000 deals a month, there is basically a steadily increasing demand. Prices going up by another fraction. Well, of course, you have to split it into newly built houses and second-hand houses. Loans, as we mentioned, are affordable, so the developers up their price tags. So this pushed their demand towards the second-hand properties with renovation. The market experts talk a lot about 2013, the recovery from 2011 crisis. We had a little crisis here, we do sometimes. And back then, the per square meter price roughly reached $2,000 in Minsk, which is quite a little bit. I hope that very soon I'll have enough batteries to cover Minsk districts with ongoing projects, hopefully. Maybe it's going to be a project for the channel members because it's valuable content. Otherwise, please tell me what you are lacking in my content, what kinds of things you'd like to cover, except not go to Grodno and film about their one-room flats with 0 donations. I'm afraid it's too expensive a video to produce it just like that. Subjects, topics that may be of interest to many, I'll be happy to cover free of charge in this video and share my knowledge with you guys. At this point, I would like to thank all those who are supporting the channel with their online and offline donations. That keeps the whole thing going. Thank you very much. And I guess I'll see you in future. Shop wisely, pick trained professionals, pick people who deliver rather than speak and promise, and may success be with you. I'll see you in Minsk at some point for a coffee or for a business. Thank you very much. Cheers.